Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Gamewreckers and Slobberknockers. I'm here with Coach Jason Kazar of thecoachpad.com. Coach, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Matt.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on here today. You know, you're out there in Manhattan, Kansas. We were talking a little bit before we got on here. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. Out there in in the wheat fields of Kansas.
Yeah, Matt, I'm actually a military brat, and my dad retired out here when I was in middle school, and that's what brought me out here to Kansas. So I've been all over, and when I got here to Manhattan, I didn't play football actually till ninth grade, and that's what got me going. I started seeing all the other kids going to football practice, and so I decided, well, let me go play some football. I'd seen the '85 Bears, that was big. Watching them on TV when I was little. And I always remember watching Sweetness and those guys. So that got my interest in football, but I never played. And so I started playing in ninth grade, and the rest is history, I guess you could say. So,
well, hey, you grow up in Manhattan, Kansas. You got to see one of the better football programs and what I think is one of the better football coaches for, I told you I drove through Kansas. Anybody that can win games in college in the state of Kansas deserves to be a Hall of Famer because there's not a lot of folks out there. I mean, like you guys don't have a big population center like we do here in Ohio. Like Kansas is it geographically is large, but population wise
yeah.
is small. So, Coach, what's it like growing up in a town where you have a major college program like Kansas State and Coach Bill Snyder?
Yeah, that was a big perk living here. We moved here, and obviously we didn't know anything about that. And then as when we first got here, they were just, that was Coach Snyder's early years. And so I remember going to the games when I was a youngster there in middle school and starting in high school when you could walk in, and obviously there was tons of seats available. And I played here in Manhattan High School, and then I actually got to play for old Coach Snyder there at K-State.
Okay.
For 5 years back in the glory days there from 96 to 2000. And so, yeah, I got to really, kind of help the program get to where, we got it. And then so I look back, those some great years. And yeah, this is a little college town in the middle of nowhere, I guess you could say.
Right.
The only other college town, KU, we don't want to talk about them very much, but, they're down the road a little further. And then you get to Manhattan and Kansas State University, and it's a pretty great place to be brought up and to live and experience that turnaround that Coach Snyder brought.
It was great to watch, and I still like watching them. I told you that I've been to Manhattan before. Went into the stadium. I think it's one of the most classic. Like it's got an old fortress look to it on the home side, at least. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like when we first pulled up, I'm like, that can't be the football stadium. That looks like a regular building on campus or something. And then I'm like, holy cow, that's what it looks like. And then, we got to walk down and got on the field, but it's a great thing. And like I said, anybody can win games in Kansas deserves to be a Hall of Famer in my book because it's low population and you don't have the draw. So, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you talked about being a military brat. What do you think that kind of played into your role of not playing until later in your youth? Like you said, you didn't play football until the ninth grade. So, moving around, do you think that had to deal with like one of the reasons why you didn't get into football so quickly?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, I was down in Oklahoma, Fort Sill. My dad was stationed and lived down there. Played soccer, as a little kid. And, obviously football wasn't like what it is now with the little league teams and all that all over the place back then. And then we moved to Germany for 4 years, and then I thought I was going to be a soccer player. I was
right
soccer over there for the Germans, and we lived there for 4 years. And so that's what living over there for a while. I was like, man, I want to be a soccer player. And I came back to America, to the States here, and I actually didn't play soccer when I got back. I just we moved right back at the beginning of the school year, and so I really didn't do anything except wrestling. And like I said, I saw all these guys, my other classmates go to football practice. And so that next year, obviously I started watching more football on TV and going to K-State games. So that helped kind of get back into the football. And then, and that's kind of what got me going there in ninth grade. So yeah, that was definitely being a military brat. You move around, you got to adjust but it was a great time and no regrets.
Absolutely. But you got to experience things a lot of kids will never get to do. Being overseas,
Yes,
completely
sir.
different country. I mean, that's got to be an experience that you can draw on. But hey, and you're also a wrestler. I didn't know that. Former wrestler. My
Okay.
son, who I was telling you about, was who's down at Georgetown College.
Yeah.
All my viewers here, I talk about him all the time because I'm going to brag about him because he's my kid and I love
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Naturally. Yeah.
But he was a wrestler too. And how did wrestling help you for not playing football? How much did that wrestling experience help you transition to football so quickly?
Well, even now being a coach, I look at our wrestlers that we have, and not knowing that, back when I was playing, but I think being a wrestler helped me feel comfortable with contact, that body contact, body positioning, and I wasn't afraid to, get roughed up. You get pinned on your back, kind of
Right? Oh yeah.
get humbled quickly. And so I think it definitely helped being a wrestler that then when I transitioned in and started playing some football that the contact, the forming up on somebody, and I played defense, and I think that did nothing but help. And then just that aggressiveness kind of comes out. And so and like I said, now as a football coach, I'm right now I'm at the middle school level, but I was at the varsity, and our best tacklers are usually those wrestlers because one, they're just comfortable with that body position, and they're not afraid of contact.
Right. It's just a natural the leverage and all that stuff.
Exactly.
I think naturally transitions over.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, one of the reasons you're on here today is we want to talk a little bit about the coachpad.com and your new technology. Now, I'm gonna tell you some things, and everybody on here who listens knows I talk about how old I am.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm 48, and
Okay.
I got started coaching really really young. So I graduated high school in 1990.
Okay.
So I didn't coach the fall of 90, the fall of 91. I was in college or something there like something like that, right?
Yeah.
I came home, and in this fall of 92 was my first football season coaching. So I'm 20 years old,
Hmm.
18, 19, yeah, 20 years old. I've done it all. Like I've done 16 millimeter film. We've watched it,
Yeah.
seen the transition to VHS. And then what was funny is we went from VHS to DVD to digital like that. Like it
Yeah.
went
No
from
kidding.
VHS to DVD digital, bam. And now where everybody's online, drawing up play cards. You know, we've done it on boards. We've done the whole draw it up on cards to using
Hmm.
different technologies. I'm pretty good at using Huddle's technology. We've also
Yeah.
used what are some other ones we've used? Playbook Pro was
Hmm.
another old one that we had used.
Playmaker Pro.
Yeah, Playmaker Pro. That's it. So tell me, and there was another one that was a local guy here that was Playbook Pro. That's why I was using it. And it was, it made it simpler. I was like, yeah, but it's this, that. But now, tell us a little bit about your product and what you bring to the table.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, coach. I've been, I got done with playing high school and college, and I played a little professional ball, and then I got into coaching. And I was a GA at Bethel College out here in Newton, and NAIA level. And I was a defensive grad assistant, and I was, trying my, dabble in, college coaching. And it was then I was in charge of drawing a lot of scout cards. When you're a defensive GA, you're the one that has to draw those cards, and so that was back in 2006. And ever since then, I just started saying to myself, there's got to be a better way, a more efficient way to get cards, after I draw them out to practice without stuffing binders, stuffing all these clear vinyl sheets, in these binders, carrying 2 or 3 binders out there. And, so really it's been a while since I've been working on this. And it's, even then I, transitioned back to high school and started coaching there. And, we were drawing the cards on card stock and 3-hole punching them or putting them in the sleeves. And I was still working on this project because I knew there had to be a better way. We use all these technology, all this technology, like you were saying, the huddle and all these reports we run, and we use the cameras, the video, everything, and do all that kind of stuff. And then we had this gap, we had this opening where we have to go to printing out paper on a printer and stuff in a binder full of these pieces of paper to run our scout teams. And I always joke that it's usually us defensive guys that are drawing all the scout cards because
Absolutely.
yeah, those offensive guys, they're just like, hey, give me a 3-man, give me a 4-man, that kind of deal. And hey, bring somebody out the edge. And so it's really just kind of working through that. And then here this last couple of years, this product of mine, the coach pad, really kind of came together for me. And I was able to partner with Sideline Power. And so what we're able to do is, we're able to offer another way that once you create your cards, whether you use a program like Huddle Practice Scripts or Playmaker Pro, or even if you draw by hand, you can now get out to practice a lot faster. You're saving time from stuff in the binder. I got you mentioned your age. I have a 70-year-old guy that coaches down here in Kansas. They started using the coach pad this year, and he said, it's amazing. I get to load cards in 10 seconds. I don't have to stuff a binder. And like you were saying, he's done it all. He's tried a lot of things. And
he's done a lot more than I have, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the first time he's used the coach pad, obviously, and he had some really good things to say. And I was really happy to hear that it's helped him save some time there as even a 7-year-old. Somebody that's probably not as good with technology as some of us. And so that's what I'm trying to do, just help coaches be more efficient. And no matter what program they're using, most of the guys all print off, no matter what you're using to draw, you're printing to paper, you're stuffing that binder, or you're drawing them by hand on cardstock. Well, now you can choose either, and you do it on the coach pad, and you can store all your game weeks on there and just be a more efficient coach, especially, like I said, on the defensive side.
Well, hey, this sounds interesting. I've looked at it a little bit online, knowing that you were coming on here. And one of the things why we use the plastic sleeves is because, especially here in Ohio, we're going to get at least one rainy practice that's just going to ruin everything. And
Yes, sir.
the guy who just left here from where I currently work, when he came in, he was still using he would use folders, manila folders, and he would have 4 cards on one folder, but then it would rain and you have to redo all the cards. I'm like,
yeah.
We have a program to do that. I said, and we'll just put them in the sleeves. Now, for me, the sleeves was like, it's not a big deal, but it's a hassle when you got to do it. You got to take these out, and if it rains, they still get wet. Now you got to change those sleeves, all those things. So, is it weatherproof? How do you deal with it out in the weather?
Yeah, it can handle some water on it, but we do have, through Sideline Power, we offer an outdoor kit, we call it. An outdoor kit has 2 things. One of the things is a waterproof sleeve for it. And I just got off the phone just a couple of days ago talking to a team that used it 4 or 5 practices when it was pouring down rain, and he said it worked great. And that's what we designed it for. That you put the coach pad in the sleeve and it protects it when it's a downpour. And then we also have a holder for it that you can put the coach pad in, and you're able to go out to practice and use it a lot easier, holding with one hand, slinging around your neck. They said their manager carried around practice for them around their neck, and then when they needed it, boom, just hand it to them, and they're ready to rock and roll. So we have this outdoor kit that we kind of take care of some of those things.
Okay, Coach. And the next question is, when you're putting so we would sometimes have to do a defensive like format, like where we're gonna have to, hey, defense, you need to line up like this, right? Defensive cards. How do you do? Is there ways that you have, like, hey, we're playing Smith High School this week, and here's all the offensive play cards. Here are the defensive play cards. Is it hard to transition back and forth, or storage wise? You said you could do it by weeks. How does that go when you're doing both offense and defense?
Yeah, most teams have bought one for both sides of the ball. Actually, they'll buy one for offense and defense, and then just give them to their coordinators. That's kind of been a real popular approach that the teams have gone with. But obviously, it's got 64 gigabytes of storage, and you can imagine how many PDFs you can store 64 gigabytes.
Right.
And so you can easily put different cards in folders on the coach pad, and then you can also back them up to a cloud service that we have, so that you can look at those later back at the office on a computer. But usually coaches, the ones that have one coach pad, they'll have a folder for the offense and one for the defense, and they'll just hand it off to one another as they change the side of the ball that they're working on, that they're focused on. The bigger schools that maybe are separate, they've gone to getting one for each coordinator, like I said. And then just, the offensive guys just do all this stuff on the offense, and maybe they got 3 cards on there. And meanwhile, the defense got them all filled up. So,
Right. Okay. So now you're talking about folders. So like for me, when I was coordinating, I had an inside
hmm
script, I had a 7-on-7 script, and I had a team script. So I assume you can build folders like what you're saying for offense and defense. You would just have inside of there.
yes, sir. Yeah. So in a folder, a lot of teams, they'll put like the game week. And then inside that folder, they put Monday's practice, Tuesday's practice, Wednesday's practice. And then in there, they can put the 7-on-7, the inside. And then the coach pad even has the option to, let's say you hand it off, maybe you're the run game guy. And so you do all the runs for inside drill. And then you work with another coach on the defense side that is in charge of all the pass plays. And maybe they put all the plays together for 7-on-7. So you can easily, draw them separate, and then you can combine your cards into one script for like maybe a team period or something. And you can move the cards around, and you can jump around really easily from card to card, depending on when the script that you have. Maybe if oftentimes you start going on a script, and you're like, hey, let's go back to play 2, or let's jump around here a little bit. Let's mix it up. You can quickly do that on the coach pad without having to flip the binder, get the binder, if you're flipping cards in the wind or whatever. So
Right.
it's a matter of just touching the screen and going to those cards a lot faster, a lot more efficiently.
Okay. So how do you load them? Like I use huddle play practice, scripts. How do
Yeah.
you get those things that I drew up there onto the coach pad?
Yeah. I was bringing up that gentleman that I talked to, 70-year-old gentleman, the coach
Yeah.
that here in Kansas. And what they decide to do is you can do it 2 ways. There's a USB cord that comes with it, and you just connect it to either a Mac or a PC, and it becomes almost like a jump drive, like a removable drive, or you can do it wirelessly through the Wi-Fi. And so obviously the one that you do wirelessly, you have to have Wi-Fi to do that. But if you transfer through the USB cord, you don't have to have any kind of Wi-Fi connectivity. And then so you just plug it into your computer, and then when you go to your huddle practice scripts, usually you have the printer icon that you hit, and it prints out the cards. Well, right next to it is like a download button. And so now you just hit that download button, and you download that PDF, that number of cards. Let's say you have a 28 cards. You just download that 28 card practice script to your desktop. And then from there, you just drag it right over to the coach pad, and it's ready to rock and roll. Then you just connect, and you're out to practice.
Okay. Now here, the other thing that I know we've struggled with is somebody's forgot to draw a line, or hey, we're going to add motion
Yeah.
to this. How do you? Can
Yeah.
you have the ability to do that right there on the pad?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's one of the coolest things about the coach pad is you can be out of practice, and you don't have to have any Wi-Fi or anything. You just take the stylus that comes with it, and you just start drawing right on it. You draw on it on a surface, and everything you draw will save, and you can also erase. And then another cool thing is if you do things on a PDF, like what you would do on huddle practice scripts, you can even we call it writing in white, so in white ink, and so you can erase out maybe a blitz or maybe a route that you drew up wrong, and then you could change your stylus back to black ink, and then you can draw the correct route, and all that saves and stays on there for when you go back to the office, it'll still be there. You don't have to worry about it being gone.
All right. Now one of the things we did is we colored each position, like so every quarterback. So because what we would do is we'd have the kids like, hey, you're blue, you're orange, you're green. But one of the things we had to do is we all had to get on the same terminology of who was the blue. Because for me, the quarterback was always blue, but for the guy who was doing our passes, blue was always his slot. And I'm like, we can't do that because now the quarterback wants to go out there.
Yeah.
So doing that, if we're using the color scheme on Huddle, does it transfer over onto Coach Pad?
No, that's one thing I've gotten that question a lot, Coach, because some teams do that as well. A lot of teams do that, but it does not show color while you're out of practice. You can write in color on it, but it won't show up in color until you like transfer it off the Coach Pad, like onto your desktop and view it there, or maybe you email it to somebody. That's when it'll show up in color. So what we've gotten to, and I had a team do that. They just started numbering all their receivers or their whatever.
That's the way we used to do it. We had everybody was a number.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that we don't have is the color on there. But being able to see it outdoors in the sun is a game changer compared to any other device that
Right.
you may have tried.
Right. Cool. Coach, is there anything else you want us to tell about us? I mean, you're hooked up with Sideline Power. I know they got a lot of cool products out there. Anything else you want to tell us about your product in particular?
Well, the biggest feature of the Coach Pad that makes it different is it's a 13.3 inch screen, and so it's the size of a piece of paper. And when coaches go out to practice, they're used to taking a piece of paper out there to show a card. Well, it's going to be no different on this. It's just now you're going to be able to be more efficient with the Coach Pad, and then you can see the other big feature is just being outdoors in the sun, and that's what I have some comparison things on my website that shows. I have numerous schools that have said, "Hey, we've tried this tablet, tried that tablet, it just doesn't work because of the glare and you can't see it." And that's where when you take this Coach Pad outside, it is a game changer when you're outdoors in the sun and being able to see it and show your kids the plays, and that's really one of the biggest features of it.
Cool. Sounds great, Coach. We're actually in a transition between coaching staffs here where I'm at. So I will definitely talk to the new guy about, hey, let's think about, all the things. So every time a new coach comes in, it seems like we rework everything.
Yeah, I understand.
But hey, I appreciate you coming on here. Now, I'm going to throw you into the fire here a little bit. We call it Gamewreckers and Slobberknockers, name of the podcast. So you've played in high school and college. You've done a little coaching. Who's the best game wrecker, the best defensive player you've ever coached or played with?
Mark Semino. Easy answer there. Mark Semino.
Okay. Biggest slobberknocker hit you've ever seen as a player or coach?
That's a good. Oh, I know. Travis Litton and Jeff Kelly sandwiched the KU quarterback in 1999. We played the KU at KU. And the two of them came together. It's on YouTube. You can see it, and it is slobberknocker the KU quarterback. They sandwiched them, and I think they believe I knocked them out of the game. Actually,
awesome. But hey, as defensive coaches, we always love seeing the quarterback.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They get protected, and don't hit me, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna throw another one. I'm gonna throw another one there, Coach. Actually, too.
Okay.
Mario Smith against in the 96 Cotton Bowl. It was actually Steve Sarkisian that was the quarterback for BYU.
Okay.
And he threw a pass downfield, and Mario Smith just slobberknockered the receiver. And it was a huge hit. It definitely would have been a targeting hit from nowadays, and knocked the kid. He was cuckoo. I'll tell you that.
All right. Well, hey, and then I always end the show. It's called Bring in the House. It's 5 rapid fire questions, trying to make you think about, make a choice real quick.
Okay.
Best movie quarterback, Varsity Blues Johnny Moxon or Longest Yards Paul Crew?
Moxon.
All right. Better football video game series, the NCAA or Madden?
Oh, Madden for sure. Definitely Madden.
Okay. Best defensive mind of all time?
I'm going to go with Belichick.
Okay. Hey, he's won a lot of titles. Can't argue that one too much.
Yeah.
All right. Gummy bears or gummy worms?
Bears.
Bears. All right. And then the last one, curly fries or waffle fries?
I'm a curly fry guy. Curly fry.
Okay, yeah. Curly fry guy.
Arby's.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right. Coach, I appreciate you coming on here. Listeners, I'm going to put in the website, the coach's website, to see the coachpad.com. I'm definitely going to take a look at it and see if, maybe we can get it here at the school I'm at. And Coach, good luck to you. If we can do anything else for you, let us know. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Coach. I really appreciate the opportunity to share the Coach Pad with your listeners here.
Awesome. Hey guys, tune in next week for another episode of Gamewreckers and Slobberknockers.